Fourth meeting of the House Standing Committee on Economic Development and Workforce Investment to order. Sasha, please call the roll.
Representative Baker. Representative Bauman. Present. Representative Bratcher.
Here.
Representative Callaway. Present. Representative Elliott. Representative Gentry. Representative Hart.
Here.
Representative Heff.
Here.
Representative Jackson.
Present.
Representative King. Representative Kulkarni. Representative Lawrence.
Present.
Representative Lockett.
Here.
Representative Pratt.
Here.
Representative Sharp.
Present.
Representative Swan.
Here.
Representative Tackett Lafferty. Representative Truitt.
Here.
Representative Branscombe.
Here.
Chairman Weber.
Here. All right, we do have a quorum and are duly constituted to conduct business.
Easy for him.
All right. We can get the show on the road. All right. Senator, we do have Senate Bill 169 is our only item on the agenda today. Senator Wise, who is also chair of the Senate Economic Development Workforce Investment Committee, we want to welcome you here today. Senator, if you and your guest, Eric, will introduce yourselves for the record, and after you've done so, go ahead and begin your presentation on the bill.
Thank you, Chairman Weber. Members of the committee, Max Wise, State Senator, 16th District, encompassing Taylor, Adair, Metcalfe, Monroe, Allen, and Eastern Warren County.
Thank you, sir. I'm Eric Kennedy, the Director of Advocacy for the Kentucky School Boards Association.
Mr. Chairman, there is not a committee sub on this bill, so what you're seeing in front of you, members, is Senate Bill 169. Just a brief history. Back in 2016, we passed out of both chambers and into law public-private partnership legislation, also known as P3s. We have seen much progress with that on the county level, as well as many universities that enter into P3s. And I was very fortunate at that time, those years ago, that the gentleman to my right was the bill drafter for that piece of legislation. He's now moved on representing the Kentucky School Board Association. But we did not put in that original bill language back in 2016 local school districts that if they wish to enter into a P3 agreement with local government. And we've seen some situation arise since then. One notably was up in Campbell County of a piece of property that could have been used for the local school district to have purchased because this was not law. They were unable to purchase that piece of property, which would have tremendously helped their school district. And since we have filed 169, I've heard from many school superintendents across the Commonwealth welcoming this piece of legislation, ways that they see that they can utilize this to the best benefit, especially as it relates to facilities on the local level. So, happy.
We have a motion by Representative Bauman, second by Representative Hart. Are there any members have questions? Representative Huff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have one question. Why are the daycares against it? I'm receiving emails from daycares.
I have not received any email against it in terms of being SB 169. I'm not for sure why a daycare would be against this when we're just adding local school districts. Eric, I'm not sure if you've heard anything.
Possibly, I have not seen or heard anything like that. Possibly someone has sent something out, maybe with the wrong bill number. At this moment, I cannot imagine why daycares would be calling against this bill. We can try to get to the bottom of it.
And Representative, I know you had a comment yesterday about universal pre-K being in this bill. There is nowhere in this bill will you find reference to universal pre-K funding. This strictly just is local school districts added to existing bills.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any other questions from members? Representative Gentry.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator, thanks for being in here. I'm sorry, I just walked in, so I didn't miss your presentation. I apologize if I asked this question and was covered, but is there any kind of fiscal impact to this, or in other words, is school districts going to be able to get funding of anything that might go toward local governments by changing this?
I'm going to allow Eric to answer that question.
No, sir. I don't believe there would be any fiscal impact to the state or even districts just because of this bill. We think that this, in some cases, especially when there's any complexity to a project or something that a school district's trying to do, they may need something more innovative and flexible than the very traditional process. But if anything, it might save money and save time. And time is money now because every day of inflation cost on a project is a concern. But this every substantive rule in statutes or regulations that would apply to any project would still apply. This would treat school districts just like cities and counties in the P3 law now, that this mechanism can't be used to circumvent any other permanent law or rule in any way.
Okay, and the reason I'd ask, just so you guys know, is I have a bill out there that not much to do with education, but it was in the gaming industry where it talked about HHR facilities and revenues that are tax revenues that are generated should be a portion that goes back to local government entities, and of course that would potentially include school districts now if this passes. So that was the only reason why I was asking the question. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative.
Representative Callaway.
Thank you, gentlemen, for bringing this. Could you just explain a little bit in regard to, by adding this in, the types of things that this would authorize a school district to be able to engage in regard to those partnerships?
Certainly. One of the examples that the sponsor mentioned was up in Campbell County, where there was an area of property. There are so many rules on the size of property that you have to have when you build, especially an all-new school building and campus. So it's getting more difficult, especially in some of the urban areas or in eastern Kentucky, to find enough land that's big enough, that's available, that already has all the improvements on it that you need to get a project going. So in Campbell County, there was an instance where there was a piece that was privately owned next to a piece of property that was publicly owned by another governmental entity, and then the school district was trying to purchase it to build an all-new school that they need, that they're overdue for. And the complexity involved with that and the time, going through the very traditional one step at a time, purchase it, design it, go out to bid, construct it. That's an example where they potentially, under this, could form a P3, the partnership itself, almost like a separate entity that is made up of like a city, the private owner of property, and the school district, that then that entity itself takes off and does all of the work. So there's sort of a more speedy process to get everything going, instead of just the district on its own doing it kind of one step at a time. This will not be used probably a lot. I would be shocked if we saw it used a lot. We have not seen a lot of city and county governments doing a lot of these, but there are some out there where there's a special complex situation with a lot of moving parts and parties involved that it can be like the only way to do something.
Thank you.
Seeing no other questions, Sasha, please call the roll.
Representative Baker. Yes. Representative Bauman. Yes. Representative Branscombe.
Yes.
Representative Bratcher. Yes. Representative Callaway.
Yes.
Representative Elliott. Representative Gentry.
Yes.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Representative Huff.
Yes.
Representative Jackson. Yes, ma'am. Representative King. Representative Kulkarni. Representative Lawrence.
Why, yes.
Representative Lockett.
Yes.
Representative Pratt.
Yes.
Representative Sharp.
Aye.
Representative Swan.
Yes.
Representative Tackett Lafferty. Representative Truitt.
Yes.
Chairman Weber.
Yes. All right. Senate Bill 169 passes with favorable expression, Senator, and now moves to the House floor.
Thank you all so much. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you.
That concludes. Oh, I'm sorry. Anybody? Does any other member have any other business before the committee?